to my kitchen. Today, I want to talk to you about those cravings. Do you ever crave something ooey-gooey, something messy that you can just eat with your fingers like you're a toddler again? I admit it, I do. So today, I'm going to answer all those cravings with my own special little recipe for something called Monkey Biscuits. Now, if you enjoyed today, I hope you'll go to my website, robinasbell.com, and sign up for one of my virtual classes where you and I will meet here and we'll do a Zoom class. I'd love to see you there. So my Monkey Biscuits are going to be absolutely over the top, decadent, not something you make every single day, but it's a great and wonderful way to celebrate and have a brunch with friends and loved ones, or just comfort yourself in these crazy moments that we're living through. So usually, monkey bread is something that's made with a yeasted bread, lots and lots of butter, there's probably some eggs in the dough, but this one's all plant-based. And I'm gonna make a plant-based caramel sauce first. It's gonna go in there and stir up a very quick and easy little biscuit, more of like a drop biscuit, instead of all the work of making a yeasted dough. So, to get right to it, I'm going to show you how to make this caramel sauce. And honestly, if that's all you do, you're going to have a great caramel sauce, right? A plant-based caramel sauce that you can put over. I've got a stick of plant-based butter, 1/2 cup, and that is, I'm using Melt brand, which is available here, but Earth Balance, Miyoko's, all those are good. And yes, I've got an entire 1.5 cups of brown sugar and 1/2 cup of coconut cream, which is the solid part of the coconut milk, although I actually bought some that was specifically just coconut cream. And then I'm going to bring that to a boil. Turn it down a little so it isn't just crazy. And that will, once that starts to melt, I will, turn it down a little. I will get this to a boil and I'm going to cook it for 5 minutes. Well, let me get it going. Now, technically real caramel involves burning some sugar in a pan, and we certainly could do that, but this is a lot easier and quicker, and that's what we're all about, right? We just want to get our instant gratification of our ooey-gooey deliciousness. And I've got a 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla that I'm going to put in there. And I'm going to get that up to a bubble. And it's all right that everything's just melting and bubbling and melting and bubbling, because there's no great chemistry really going on here except the melting of the brown sugar. Welcome back. So I cooked my caramel for 5 minutes, and you can see it's nice and thick and deliciously caramely looking after being cooled. Now, I was impatient, so I put it in an ice bath. So to get ready for the bread making, I'm just going to move this. Put this down here. So I've got whole wheat pastry flour, all-purpose flour, baking powder, baking soda, a couple tablespoons of organic sugar, just to sort of even it out, a little bit of salt. And stir up the dry mixture. And then I've got some unsweetened almond milk, and I'm adding a tablespoon of cider vinegar, which is just going to acidulate it, and that helps the leavening work better. It's an old school way of making something more like buttermilk, but you may not realize that your chemical leavening, baking soda especially, needs some acid. And a lot of recipes with dairy actually rely on the dairy to have acid, but a lot of our nut milks and non-dairy milks don't have so much acid. So I've got my acidulated nut milk, and I'm very fond of the unsweetened almond, but whatever, any of them will work for you. And I'm just gonna stir it right in. Very, very super simple and easy. And again, this one is just a drop biscuit. If you want to make a quick biscuit for dinner, you can make this very same mixture. And I'm mixing it up. I made it kind of stiff and thick for this because I don't want these to stick together. It is going to puff up in the pan, and so you don't want to overmix either. It's just like any biscuit. You don't want to overwork the gluten. And now here comes the big fun. Now I have walnuts to go in with my super fantastic monkey bread. And if you want to, you can use raisins or some other nut, whatever you want to do. You can even do it without, but I really like it with that little bit of crunch in there. And it's a little bit of nutrition, right? So to start, I'm going to put about a half a cup of this caramel down into the bundt pan. And oh my gosh, here it all starts. There's plenty, so you don't have to worry. We'll be pouring extra over at the end. Now I have this little scoop that is a very small cookie scoop or truffle scoop. It makes about a tablespoon sized portion. So these are kind of rounded little balls that I'm putting in here. And you want to get them into the caramel, a little room around them, sort of. And then we're going to put nuts in there. Oh, that's right. I'm going to put some nuts in now. Whoops. We'll put some nuts in. So there will be nuts on top when we take it apart. And nuts in between and nuts every which way. So we got some walnuts in there. And I'm going to just keep scooping these. And it's good to make sure there's a little bit of space so that when we pour in the next layer of caramel, there will be caramel in between all of these so that they will not merge into one single giant biscuit. So we got a little room there. And then, yes, more caramel, I know. It is ooey and gooey as described. I will not disappoint you on the ooey and the gooey. Caramel and biscuits. And can I tell you, this is going to be a big hit, especially with the kids. Make sure you have napkins and or finger bowls because you're going to be ooey and gooey. But what could be more fun? I think sometimes we get too detached from our humanity, our essential animalness, because we eat with pieces of metal. It's fine to eat with your fingers. I get to touch food all the time. I'm a chef. I'm always touching food. But I think more people in the privacy of their own homes should go ahead and feel their food and eat things that are messy. It's all right. And actually, there are plenty of cultures where that would be fine, in public as well. Restaurants where people eat with their hands. I'm going to do another little bit of caramel. Can you believe it? And I'm going to put in the last few little pieces of dough. And because this is chemically leavened instead of yeasted, of course we're going to go right into the oven with it and not worry about it's going to rise, because those chemical leaveners are going to hit that heat and do their work. So I'm going to finish up every little last bit of this dough. Each one of these is going to be a little monkey ball. And then again, more nuts, more nuts, more caramel. Yep, I'm going in. We're going in with all this caramel, and the bread will somehow absorb it all. Ooh, yum, yummy, 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 yummy. Our monkey bread full of caramel, monkey biscuits, and I'm going to put this in the oven at 400 degrees for 30 minutes. So I will be right back. So when this comes out of the oven, it's boiling. Fabulous ooey-gooey boiling caramel. So at that point, we've got to wait 5 minutes to let it cool before we take it out of the pan. 5 minutes for that caramel to sink back down in, and we've got this lovely crusty, you can poke it, it feels firm, a little crunchy on top. And now comes the tricky part, if there's anything tricky at all. I'm going to take this plate and I'm going to flip it onto the plate. So to prepare myself for this, I'm going to get my knife here. Just make sure nothing's sticking. You know, just run it down the sides a little bit. I'm not trying to gouge anything. And that caramel's still pretty liquid, so as you'll see. So this is actually still warm enough. It's too hot to eat. It could burn you, which is why we want to be super careful. And I'm going to pick this up, put this plate over it, and then very tightly gripping the two together, I'm going to flip it. And that flip can be messy. That's why I put this pan here, so that I can catch any caramel that comes running out. And now, for the moment of truth, we unmold. Oh my God, look at this messy, ooey-gooey, caramely, delicious monkey bread. So I'm gonna sit again and let this, I'm gonna scoop out what's little caramel that's left in here. I'm gonna let this cool a little bit before I dig in. So we have to be patient, because hot caramel can burn your fingers, especially if you're working with kids. I'm gonna give this about 10 minutes. So we'll be right back. So we were patient. We waited 10 whole minutes for this. Oh my gosh, I wish you could smell the caramel, the lusciousness, the richness, the ooey, the gooey, the plant-based decadence, because as you know, I'm all about the flavor. So we're gonna pretend that this is something that we eat on a plate, but I'm just gonna pull one of these piping hot, caramel drenched little nuggets off. Still pretty hot. but I'm not burnt. I might give it a little more time even. What can I say? There's a little vanilla in the caramel. Super rich, creamy. The biscuits are a little fluffy, so it's not too heavy. But the main impulse here, the main sensation that you're having is I am bathing in caramel, and it is good. Finger licking good. So please come on over to my website, check me out, take a class with me sometime, check out all the free recipes. And again, comfort yourself. You deserve a little something ooey-gooey. And come on back next time. See you soon. Oh yeah, there it is. The Monkey Biscuit. All those sticky, gooey, yummy, nutty biscuits all stuck together with caramel.